All right, welcome to this podcast. It is Getting Started, Personal and Family Preparedness. This podcast is an audio of a document that I had prepared and sent to my own family when they had questions around what can they do to start getting prepared, basic emergency preparedness. Here we go. Preparedness is about being ready to handle what is thrown at you. It's about knowing the risks and putting mitigation in place to ensure the risk level is acceptable. A bit of basic preparedness can handle a lot of different scenarios. It doesn't have to be expensive or overwhelming. Preparing has many benefits. It gives you a sense of security and peace of mind in uncertain times. It can save you money, like buying in bulk, not having to call CAA if you run out of gas, buying things when they're cheaper, saving time if others need to rush out and line up to buy items that they don't have. It can increase your safety, better security, situational awareness, not exposing yourself to high-risk situations during an event, as well as many more good things. As everyone has limited resources, both time and money, it's good to know where you are at and where to focus your attention. A good place to start is by knowing your hazards and risks. Hazards are things that have the potential to harm you, like a river, tornado, fire, things like that. Are you in a remote location where supply chain issues are even worse than other places? Are you in a heavily forested area where there could be fires or trees falling? Near a river, in a tornado or earthquake area? Have you had a lot of power outages? Once you identify your hazards and risks, the next step is to make a plan to mitigate the risks. Mitigating means you do things to decrease the likelihood of something happening or to decrease the impact should it happen. Some things decrease likelihood, some impact, and some both. For example, if you get in your car and put your seatbelt on, that is mitigation. That's a control that you're putting in place that will decrease, hopefully, the injury to you if you're in a collision. If you reduce your speed, you decrease both the probability and the impact, because decreasing the speed gives you more time to react, and going slower means there'll be less energy, so less impact. By planning, it helps us see where we are, where we want to be, and how to close that gap. It lets us focus our limited resources and gives us steps to take, as well as a way to measure our progress. Some of the things we do for preparedness and risk management help in many ways and cost little to no money. Let's look at a few. Maintaining good physical fitness. A daily walk or jog is great. Enjoy more activities. You'll be more capable and less sore afterwards. Be able to get away from danger, the flight portion of fight or flight, or even fight if you're in better shape. Then you'll have less medical bills, hopefully. Fitness is very, very important to everything we do. Build a bug-out bag. Have critical supplies in your vehicle. Establish a rainy day fund. Start small, save up. The rainy day fund helps in a lot of ways. Living paycheck to paycheck sucks. It'll buffer you if you have a job loss, which I've experienced on numerous occasions, and I've had to dip into my rainy day fund. Allow you to pay for emergency repairs without using credit. Allow you to take advantage of great savings if you need cash on hand. Keep your vehicle gas tank always above half. It won't cost any more money. It's a behavioral change. It'll allow you to get home or get away should there be an evacuation order. It'll allow you to avoid dangerous lines during an event. You won't run out of gas and be stranded somewhere. And if you do get stuck in the winter, you can keep your car running to stay warm. Security. Replace the door hardware screws very tiny ones that are on your latch plates and your hinges that just barely go into the wood on your door with long construction grade screws to decrease the chance of a break-in. Make it harder for them to kick your door in. Keep your doors locked, especially when you leave the house or if you're working in the backyard. Don't leave the garage door open longer than needed. People might be looking to see what's in your garage or waiting for an opportunity to duck in, grab anything, and duck out. Take the little handle off the rope that hangs from the door opener that connects the garage door to the chain or the motor. Crooks can use a coat hanger to pull this and gain access. Things to do. A little recap. Build a personal finance and health base. Try and be self-reliant in your home for 2 weeks. Look at what you have in your pantry. Do you have groceries that could last you 2 weeks? If not, start small. Do you have 3 days extra of groceries? It's not that hard to get 3 extra days of groceries. Build up from there to 1 week. Once you have the 1 week, double it to 2 weeks. Prepare to leave your home with little notice. That's where your bug-out bag comes in. Prepare for emergencies that happen away from home. That's why you have stuff in your car, a car kit, or stuff at your office. Build your knowledge and skills. They're light, they're easy to transport, and they're pretty hard to lose. And then go beyond the basics. Once you have the foundational stuff covered, keep learning, advance from there. Financial and physical health. Financial health, again, have a rainy day fund. Keep some cash in a safe place in your home. If there's a widespread power outage, bank machines won't work, and you may have to pay cash for items. Keep some cash on yourself. I do see far too many people that don't carry any cash with them anymore. You should have cash, your debit card, and 1 or 2 credit cards, just in case one or the other doesn't work. Save a little bit of each paycheck, putting it in a different fund, a different account from your normal checking account, high interest savings account, a money market fund, something like that. Start that as your emergency fund. Don't dip into this fund for non-essential things like a trip or clothing. Reduce your bad consumer debt. Once your rainy day fund is built, direct the money you're putting there to paying down debt. Physical health, exercise regularly. Regular checkups, doctor, dentist, optometrist. If you're a believer in immunizations, keep them current. Tetanus, flu, measles, COVID, hepatitis. It's a whole range of things. Have a think about those. Eat healthy food. Try and reduce meat consumption. Better for your health, wallet, and the environment. Reduce or eliminate alcohol, tobacco, and drug use. Also really good for your savings. If you don't have money and you can reduce those things, do so. Be 2 week ready. So once you get past that 3 days, get to 2 week ready. For a long time, it was 72 hours. Be ready for 72 hours. And then we saw during the pandemic and other events, 72 hours goes by pretty quick. Severe weather, supply chain disruptions. Sometimes we can't even leave the house. And if we can, the items we want may not be available or may be very expensive. Figure out some favorite meals, morning, noon, and evening. When you go shopping, buy an extra can, box, or quantity of one of your meals, preferably non-perishable. Doing this will just cost a little bit more each trip. You may be able to save money if you're buying in bulk. And soon you'll have your 3 days and then your 2 weeks worth of food stored up, and you'll feel better about it. This is the minimum amount of a person should have. Store some water. Recommendations are to have 4 liters per person per day. Figure out where other sources of water are in your house. We still use potable or drinkable water to flush our toilets. So your toilet tank is full of drinkable water. Your water heater tank can be drained and has water in it. If you know there's going to be an outage, fill the bathtub up. Have ways to filter the water. What about your medications? Do you have extra on hand? Do you have pets? What about their food, their needs? Identify other critical items you need and store them too. Could be hygiene items. Maybe you can't live without Lipsol. Moisturizing cream. Feminine products. Eye care. Spare glasses. Contact lens solution. Whatever it is. Have a radio, preferably one that you can get weather alerts on. Have spare batteries or maybe a wind-up kind. Be able to bug out. If for whatever reason you need to evacuate your home, you may only have a few minutes to do it. Whether you'll be living out of your vehicle, staying with friends, you want to have certain things with you. You don't want to be an instant burden on anyone. Many of the things are already in your home. You just have to put them in your bag. Instead of hunting all over the house for a can opener and spare socks, things like that, have some ready in a little bag. Bug out bag items may include some cash, copies of important documents like your insurance if you're leaving because of a fire or a flood. You want those numbers handy. At least your policy number, who to call, change of clothes, phone charging cable, and maybe one of those little battery bricks. A little bit of food, even if it's some granola bars or trail mix or some snacks, some water, an N95 mask. If it's smoke, it'll help protect you. If it's infectious disease, it'll help protect you. Gloves, a knife or a multi-tool, some duct tape, a lighter, a flashlight, headlamp, spare batteries, things like that. Have those things ready to go. A list of contact numbers. What if your phone dies and all of your contact numbers are in your phone? Do you remember them all? A small first aid kit. It can be as simple as a few Band-Aids, maybe some tweezers, a nail clipper, something like that. Again, keep your vehicle fuel tank always above half. That's a behavioral thing to do. And you may want to have a gas can in your garage with spare fuel in it. You can just, once a month, dump that into your vehicle and then go and fill up the gas can again. So it'll keep it fresh. If nothing else, have the empty container so that if you do have to quickly go to the gas station to get fuel, you don't have to try and find a fuel container first. As part of your planning, consider your evacuation in case of a fire. Do you have 2 ways out of each room? 2 ways out of your house? 2 ways out of your neighborhood? 2 ways out of your city? Do you have and know how to use a fire extinguisher? If you don't have a fire extinguisher, what about having some baking soda by the stove? Sodium bicarbonate. It's the same thing as in fire extinguishers. Have insurance. Have working smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. If you enjoy camping and have some equipment already, you're already ahead of the game. You've got some basic skills and some basic gear that you can just load up. Keep it ready to go. Be ready for emergencies that happen away from home. Have critical items in your car. Weather appropriate clothes, small blanket or sleeping bag. I've got a blanket that acts as my seat cover in the back. So if I need it, it's right there as a blanket. Some food and water, a knife or multi-tool, a flashlight, a small first aid kit, phone charging cable, a roadside kit. So booster cables, tire changing tools. Learn how to change your tires. Know how to do that. Check your air pressure. Check the fluid levels in your car. They don't cost much to do that. Learn core skills. They don't weigh anything. You always have them with you. First aid and CPR. Very important to learn. How to use a fire extinguisher. How to shut off utilities in your home. How to shelter in place. Right? There's 2 options. You either get in or get out of your house. Stay there or leave. What would you do? How would you shelter in place? Think about those things. How to change a tire. Learn how to swim. Learn how to start a simple fire. Be situationally aware so you don't walk into trouble. Basic home security. Maybe learn some self-defense. How to purify water. Let's talk about some free prepper things to do. You can inventory your stuff. Hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you're at. Figure out how much food, water, and other essentials you need. Make a list of things to get. Make an escape plan in case of fire. Make a contact list of your friends and families on paper, not as a note in your phone. Fill up your gas tank in your car at 3/4 or half rather than a quarter or empty. You still have to fill up. Organize your stuff. Check the fluid levels and vehicle tire pressure. Make sure you have some cash on you and some cash at home. You still have the cash. It hasn't cost you anything to have a little bit of cash there. And then if all the electronic stuff goes down, no ATMs, no banks, no credit cards, you've got some cash. Go for a walk, a jog, do some push-ups. You don't need equipment. Exercise is important. You'll feel better. You don't need a gym membership. Stop at the grocery store if they have a bakery and see if they have some empty pails that they get their icing or garlic spreads in. I've gotten a lot of pails for free from the grocery stores that you can then use to store your stuff in. Find and watch some videos. Check out Risk Ready 101. What interests you? What do you want to learn? Move your valuables from a place where they're more at risk, say of water damage, like in the basement, to higher locations, maybe in your attic space or on the top shelf in a plastic tub. Take photos and write down serial numbers of your valuables. Make copies of your important documents. Put them on a USB drive. Make physical copies. Email them to yourself. Make sure you're changing banking and other important passwords regularly. In the winter, change out your kit in your car to be ready for cold weather. Sleeping bag, blankets. Put a heavy pair of boots in there so that you can walk if you have to, instead of just wearing your shoes that you're going to work in. When you're shopping, pick up a couple items that are on your need list that you created earlier and put them in your pantry. Get a few tubs, boxes, bags, call it day 1, 2, and 3, and put a breakfast, lunch, and supper and a few snacks in each of the bags. Once you have that done, you've got your 72-hour food prep ready. Start your rainy day fund. Save a little bit of each check towards it. Take the handle off the pull rope in your garage. Makes it harder to break into. Lock your doors when you leave the house or when you're working in the backyard. Keep doors and windows closed. Don't leave valuables in plain sight. It doesn't cost you anything to put them away. Help the environment and help your wallet. Don't leave taps running when brushing your teeth. Don't take long showers. Lower your water heater temperature. Lower your house temperature. Put on a sweater. Try and drive less. Turn off lights and appliances when not in use. Start a compost pile. Try and buy local. That'll help with supply chain problems, and you'll support local businesses. Plant a small garden. That'll help with your food security, and it's a great skill to learn. Cheap things to do. Again, go and buy some longer screws at the hardware store. Replace the short screws on your hinges and door latches with longer screws. Install motion lights on the exterior of your house. Buy or replace older missing smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Buy a spare can opener and put it in your bug out bag. Keep a flashlight by your bed with spare batteries. Buy a gas can, fill it up, keep it in the garage. Or just buy the gas can and keep it in the garage so you're ready to fill it up. If you need medication that has a good enough shelf life, get an extra month of it. It'll be a little bit more expensive initially, but then now you can just put it in your rotation and you've got a bit of a buffer there. Sign up for some classes, learn some new skills. Get a little set of walkie-talkies as backup communication. If you've got a work phone, or maybe work has multiple providers, or you've got different cell phones in your household, if it's not too much more money, have them on different providers, so that if one goes down, you might have a working phone still. Get an old 2-liter pop bottle, fill it most of the way with water, put it in the freezer. Having a full freezer uses less energy. You can use it as an ice pack in a cooler. And if the power goes out, it'll melt, and you've got that as part of your emergency water supply. Buy some paracord. Yeah, it's the stuff that parachute cords are made out of. and replace your boot or shoelaces or lanyards with it. There's lots of strong little cords within that one cord. So instead of having a meter of shoelace, you might have 12 meters of cord. If you have a camping stove that uses the small little propane bottles, buy the adapter hose so you can connect it to big propane tanks. If you're going to buy canned food, buy the pull to open type. Then you don't even need a can opener. Get stuff that you can eat without heating. SpaghettiOs, Alphagetti, beans, tuna. Put some tin foil in your emergency kit. You can wrap it around food to cook the food. Use it as a windshield to help save heat with your cook stove. A signaling device, a heat reflector. Get a needle and thread in your kit. You can sew. You can repair things with it. You can dig out slivers. You can use it as a toothpick and dental floss. Maybe for fishing. Maybe for first aid. All of those things are cheap or free things to do. Again, it starts with making a plan. Where are you at? Where do you want to get to? Baby steps are okay. Start taking some action. Food and water are the most important things. So get a little bit extra. Doesn't cost too much to get, a few cases of water. Or, again, save those empty 2-liter pop cans or empty containers that you have from juice or whatever. Fill them up with good old tap water. Freeze them if you want. Put them away somewhere. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. There's lots of basic things you can do.